What's up, everybody? We are back with a new edition of the UmeetU movement. I'm your host, Jason Wagner, and in this segment you get to meet a lady by the name of Gwen Gilliam. Now, Gwen is significant because in the 1980s she lost her job at 42 and started this business. So she is the owner, the founder of cookiesbydesign.com, and with no further ado, the Cookie Queen.
And something I want to say, I was 42 years old when I started this, and when I decided on my cookies, I really never looked back.
When I started hearing a little bit about your story, it was so intriguing just what somebody can accomplish.
I was really fortunate that my idea was so well received and so popular. I was just trying to make a living for myself, basically. I figured if I could make this was in 1983, and I thought, okay, if I can make $500 a week, I'll be fine. Because I didn't want to, the oil and gas industry had gone down, and I was purchasing manager for a manufacturing plant.
I wondered what happened, what transpired before.
And you don't need a purchasing agent when you don't have anything to sell. So anyway, I found myself without a job, and I really didn't want to look for another job. I wanted to try something on my own. And I've always been artsy craftsy, and I thought, well, I'll make special stuffed animals, like with personalities and stuff. And I got to figuring on that, I was going to make about $12 a week. So,
so that idea.
And work 60. So
I've heard people that go through a couple of ideas before they find the one.
Yeah, and basically I was looking for a gift for a man, because things would come into the office, balloons or flowers, and they would basically be embarrassed or pretend to be. And men love cookies, love to eat. And so I just kind of put that gift idea together for a man for the cookies.
So now you had worked in an office and seen men get flowers and
yes.
Try to hide them, like,
yeah,
why I sent these.
My gosh, that's just so awful. But was my marketing plan, and my target market was men. And I was really fortunate. Men loved them, but so does everybody else.
That is amazing.
And so I was really fortunate to have the broad impact that this little basket of cookies arranged like flowers did. I had to work on my recipes for a while. I wanted a good product, not just something that looked pretty. Right. And so the first ones weren't decorated particularly with icing. They were just cookies, round cookies that I decorated with nuts and things. And so I started giving them to people that I knew in business. Mm-hmm. And that's how, just word of mouth.
And now, so the early years, so now, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Berryville, Arkansas.
So you were born and raised here in Carroll County, Arkansas?
Yes, small town.
Wow, I don't know why I just figured.
Lots of family, and I left right after high school.
Wow.
Got married, went to Tulsa, and that's where I started the business.
Okay.
Years later. So
I don't know why I just figured you were from somewhere else and had moved here, later on in life. But no. This is.
I would have never found the place.
Wow, and I had thought that too. Whenever Rocket, who introduced me to you, I thought when he told me where it was at and where you live now and everything, I thought, man, how did she find that place?
I just kind of came home. I still have a lot of family here. Mm-hmm. And it's just home. I love these old hills.
So now, elementary school back then, what was the school like? I mean, was it right here in Berryville?
Well, actually, my elementary school was a little country school. It was out on Highway 62. It was Thornton, and there were 6 grades. Then the 7th grade came into Berryville, and then I graduated from high school.
Wow. So K through 12, right there in Berryville.
Well, I went to the 1st grade, and then they put me in the 3rd grade.
What was growing up like? Was farm life?
Well, it was farm life to a point, because I spent a lot of time with my grandparents that were on farms. But We lived just outside of town.
And what did your parents do?
Well, Daddy was did a little bit of everything. He was a disabled veteran.
Okay.
But he always worked. He had a head injury, but he always
And was
worked.
that from that was stemmed from the war?
Oh yeah, Mom kind of did waitressing and things, and then she went to cosmetology school, so she had a beauty shop here in town for 30 some odd years.
So she was one of the spots in town everybody knows, and
Oh yeah.
she knew what was going on in town, I bet.
Oh, I bet she did. But my family, my grandfather was a builder here, and my cousins, and so a lot of family here.
That is amazing. So now, as far as coming up through high school and everything, were you able to just focus on school, or did you have to work as a young child?
No,
or
I didn't work. I was,
focused.
yeah, focused on having fun. It was the 50s, and the lakes and the creeks and everything. So
That is.
it was fun.
As far as coming out of high school, what was the transition there? Did you have any schooling? Did you go straight into the workforce?
I worked, but I had some intermittent business college things, but I never really never really attended college, just sporadically courses and things.
Right. And now, as far as out of high school, did you get married young or get
I
married
got
later?
married when I was 17. I graduated in May, got married in June to my childhood sweetheart, I guess.
Oh.
And anyway, we're still friends.
And now, just briefly earlier, you mentioned something about him being a football player or the.
Yeah, he was a football captain, and I got to be homecoming queen, and that kind of thing.
Yes, that is awesome.
So it was a good time. Had a lot of friends.
So now, how long are you married? Did you have children?
We were married 8 years, and we have one daughter.
And through all of that time, did you work or you stay at home?
I worked some and stayed at home some.
I wondered what what transpired before Cookies by Design. I knew you mentioned earlier having some time in the work field.
But I was divorced and had a daughter to support, so
wow.
I went into the workforce, and it was really tough. Because
back then, that was a big deal.
I wasn't really prepared.
Right.
But you do what you have to do, and
even now it's a big deal. But yeah, trying to raise a child and
it is.
under those circumstances and.
But anyway,
So now, what did you do as a single mother?
I worked in the electronics department at different plants there in Tulsa that did manufacturing.
So you stayed in Tulsa, and that was home until.
From Tulsa, I went to Dallas.
Wow.
In 1986.
Okay.
When I saw that the business had a future, that I thought I wanted to take it to a bigger market.
Right.
And the things I had read about Dallas was there was a lot of money, and it was a friendly place for women in business.
So at what point, I know you mentioned earlier about getting the idea from working in the office, but what happened to where you had to start something? You knew you had to do something
different. I lost my job
different
because of the recession.
So everybody was laid off.
Everybody was laid off, and I didn't really want to go back in the job market. I wanted to do something myself. Mm-hmm. When I decided on my cookies, I really never looked back.
Because so many people have great ideas, but they don't have the confidence to act on those ideas.
Well,
and
what really gave me the confidence is how people reacted when they saw these bouquets.
You seen it made their day. It literally
really,
lit something special.
I would draw a crowd when I would deliver it. Of course, I was the baker, the decorator, the delivery person, the whole thing.
This literally started with you,
with me,
making them, finding the sales, delivering the product, and so did you start from your home? And this was all in Tulsa.
I started. It was a suburb of Tulsa, Catoosa.
Okay.
I started from my home, but I didn't stay there very long because I realized the significance of having an establishment out of the home, and the liability for a home kitchen is quite,
I could imagine.
So, and my German Shepherd was there.
And so would it be 8 hours in the kitchen, getting everything ready? I mean, was it how did the process work? What was your cycle?
I would bake. Then I baked the cookies right then and assembled them, and deliver them. And then I had someone answering
So
the
you would
phones.
do it all in one day, bake them, assemble,
Yes.
and deliver to the
Yes.
end user
Yes.
or the client.
Yes.
Um,
And one of my the best places for my cookie sales was the hospitals, and people would just surround me when I'd be delivering in hospital. So I started filling my trunk with extra cookie bouquets and selling them out of my trunk in the
You knew if
hospital
you went up
parking
there,
lot.
somebody was going to
Yeah.
want them. I mean, the food's not always that great,
You know?
and here you show up with fresh baked cookies.
Yes. So I really promoted my product and myself.
And now, how old's your daughter at this point in time?
She was 18 at that time.
Okay, so and was she how many years in at this point, or is this the first year?
It was the first year,
As
and
she's finishing
she was
up
in
school.
school then. So
And now, does she help you with the business? I mean, getting started, or it was
she didn't in the beginning. She did later.
That is incredible. So now,
So I had a friend, a really good friend that I still have that helped me a lot, and drug every family member that I could in to deliver cookies on the holidays. And
so as far as deliveries, I know things go wrong sometimes. I mean, is there any stories you remember in particular?
my first Valentine's Day, and
And this would have been 1986?
84.
84.
I started in 83 in about April, and this was the next Valentine's Day. And I had a Christian Jewish luncheon that I was asked to do centerpieces for. So, there was, I think, 25 centerpieces, and my gosh, me doing 25 bouquets, I worked for 2 days.
That was big business.
Yeah, just practically around the clock. And that went fine, but my delivery, I had a car accident, and my car was full of cookies to deliver. So that was really,
Wow.
really tough.
So at the car, you were able to drive it away, or did you?
Kinda, but my legs were hurt, so I couldn't really drive
Oh my goodness.
the next day. And I wasn't hurt bad, but anyway, I refunded a lot of money and gave people a lot of complimentary bouquets over that. And that was really hard at the time because the money wasn't there, but anyway, I took care of all the customers. And that's always been my thing, the customers first.
Right.
And I'll go to odds, to great lengths to take care of them.
Right.
And I did. And so I probably lost a few customers, alienated some people, but I made lifelong friends out of others.
People that knew she's going to stand by her word, her
Yes.
product, whatever happens, she's going to cover you. Now, at that time, how did you take orders? I mean, this is all
On the phone.
So
and
all
I'd
phone-based.
have someone, if I wasn't there, I'd have someone take care of the
And
phone.
so right out of the chute, did you start advertising anywhere? How did you get the ball rolling? All word of mouth?
It was total word of mouth. I gave them away to the people that I knew in business before. I take them in the offices and said, give them the only advertising material I had was a business card. And I said, this is what I'm doing today, now. Please enjoy these and tell your friends. And they did. And I tried to make it better all the time. I started making cut-out cookies into shapes and doing them with frosting and things and making it more personal.
Right.
And one of the things that we do is personalization. And we write any message.
You still do that to this day?
Oh, yeah. Write any message you want and customize your bouquet the best we can to your ideas. So that's the personalization. That's what the internet has such an impact on, and over half of our business is internet now. But I really don't like it. It's so expensive and so impersonal. I really...
You like that connection?
I like the connection. I want to make someone's day.
The whole progression of everything is intriguing.
And I kind of condensed it down. I went through some really trying and tough times, and
So at what point in Tulsa did the ball really start rolling to where you knew, okay, I can do this and create something good for myself?
And And then people started asking me about franchising. And I knew nothing about franchising, and I wasn't ready. And I said, I'll franchise when I figure out what I'm doing. Unfortunately, I franchised before I figured out what I was doing. But anyway, that's another story.
Live and learn.
But anyway, after I moved to Dallas, things really started.
So what year did you make the
developing.
move to Dallas?
86.
So it was within 2 years you already knew, okay,
Yes.
this is something that could
Because
work.
the product was
The
just,
feedback, everybody.
it was amazing.
And at that point in time, has the bouquet changed much? How many
It's-
cookies did you offer in a bouquet?
Well, it's still 7 cookies. It
Okay.
was a symmetric arrangement, but the cookies have changed dramatically. Basically, the cookie itself, the recipe and the taste and the frosting haven't changed that much, but the scope of the designs and what we can do with them has changed dramatically. We've had people come to us and we've gone to people, but we really haven't partnered with anyone. We're partnered to a point with Build-A-Bear right now,
I had wondered if
that's fun.
that is because when you were talking earlier about the customization of stuffed animals, I thought about Build-A-Bear and didn't know,
And there was a time that we had a contract with Disney to do their characters.
wow, so you had the trademark
We had
license
the
to where you could
trademark,
sell
and
Mickey on a cookie.
yeah, and we did that for a long time,
Wow.
and it wasn't really that great for us.
Mm-hmm.
And something that's come up that's really made doing trademark things easy is edible images on cookies. You've probably seen them at Walmart on cakes and things. And
Yes, it
different
almost
things.
looks screen printed on there.
They do, and so for the copyrighted things, we do the edible images, like for the sports teams
Right.
and that. We do that because there's no way we could afford all the copyrights,
To pay every college to use their
Right.
logo.
and it wouldn't, there wouldn't be an ROI on it because there'd be so few of
Right.
them.
So now, what year did the franchising come in?
It was 89.
So so you actually started the franchise part of it before pre-internet.
Oh, way before internet.
Wow. And where was your first franchise?
It was in Stuttgart, Arkansas.
Really? And
The duck capital of the world.
And what went into picking that demographic, that location?
Well, somebody came with me with a few $1,000s and wanted to put a
Said, I want to do this.
Yeah, so I went with them, and I knew Stuttgart wasn't very big.
And now at this time, did you have a storefront where people could
Oh,
come
yes.
in?
Oh,
and,
yes. I probably had 2 storefronts. at that
Okay,
point.
and both in Dallas or where were they?
In
at?
Dallas,
Okay.
yes.
And so as the franchising began, I mean, how did that start to snowball, and where you realized, because it looked like you had quite a few nationwide now.
Yes, and we had more at one time, and
Do you know how many off the top of your head?
we had about 300 at one time.
Wow, so pretty much every state.
And we don't have but about 100 now.
Okay.
For a lot of reasons. A competition of just
Now,
a lot-
as the
a lot of-
competition, you always have that,
we always
the
have
imitators.
that, but the gifting business has changed over probably the last 10,
But
12
out of all the
years.
competitors, did anybody's product even come close to comparing to what you
No,
guys
and
had
I
figured
wasn't
out quality?
talking about people that did the knockoff on us. It's, the fruit and all, there's a lot of different, more choices of unique things
Right.
than there were then.
So we're talking before candy bouquets.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing was on a stick then.
Nothing.
And was there a process to getting the right cookie and being able to stand that thing up in the basket?
There sure was. And at first, I poured plaster of Paris in the baskets and stuck the sticks in, and then
There was some love that went into these baskets.
Oh yeah. And there was a time when it was so labor intensive. And we've worked through a lot of that now. When I was in the middle of the night putting plaster in those baskets, I was thinking about plastic injection mold that could take this. And in the 90s, when I had the money and found someone to do it, I found someone in Dallas with an injection mold company that worked with me, their engineers and me, to develop the basket that holds our sticks.
What is that like?
But
a lot of people get stuck in their patterns to where they think they can't do anything different.
And
so what is it like? Is it starting to take off, and you're being involved in business meetings now, and engineers and financial planners?
I just figured I could do it, and I took it a day at a time, and some of it was kind of messy. And
was there ever a time you're sitting in a meeting thinking, how did this grow into what it is? I mean,
later, but not while I was really developing and building it.
It was too hands-on. You're just doing not looking.
Focused.
Yes.
This is what I was going to do.
So now, as the franchises started to take off, at what point because everybody was a little bit behind on the internet and understanding what it is.
Yeah, the internet didn't. It's the late 90s.
Before, and that's but even having the thought to say, okay, I need to pick up my domain name, I need to get my product online and start some e-commerce.
Yes.
And
I knew that it had to be that. And one thing I've done is hired people with skills that I didn't have, and gone to people with skills that I didn't have.
That is
because I knew nothing about the internet. I still don't know much. But I have a lot of people that do, and that really are on top of things.
With our company now that I work for, that's what we talk about when we get in our meetings. It's like, okay, this I know nothing about. We need to hire somebody way smarter than we are to head this.
It's really, really competitive, and your domain name, and the search engines that you have to.
Right.
And it's expensive to have your name come up on Google.
Yes. It's so neat that you had the vision.
Mm-hmm. And I surrounded myself with people with vision.
So, I mean, people that could see a bigger picture, you know.
And I never tried to be the smartest person in the room, but I was the person that knew what was going on.
You knew what the big picture.
Right. I knew how to get from A to B, and of course there was a lot of people that didn't quite work out like I thought they were, but that's just part of it, process of elimination, and you just go on. And I can look back and see a million things that I could have done better. But I try to think, okay, you did this, so that's good enough.
Right. So as it started taking off, I mean, the sharks had to be there. People coming in trying to buy you out, wanting a percentage. Look what we can do. We can take this thing global.
Yes.
I can only hear the.
I just thought I could do better. Hey, nobody offered me enough money. Let's face it.
I would love to have seen the looks on some of their faces when they thought, okay, we've got a surefire thing here.
Yeah.
We can get her to partner with us.
Yeah, and I kind of was brought up to have my own mind.
As far as, so you're doing it by yourself. You know at this point you're going to have to hire some people.
Yes.
So what is that process like? How do you start looking for the right person? Do you use people you know already?
I used people I knew already. I tried employment agencies, and when I moved to Dallas, it was really difficult to find people because I didn't know anyone there. So one thing I did was hiring ex-offenders.
Wow. Second chance.
Yeah, I kind of said, there's people I won't take. But anyway, a burglar turned out to be a really good baker.
That is amazing. He had other skills. And most of them, they'll put their attention into something productive.
Yeah, he worked for me for years.
That is awesome.
Anyway,
and so you didn't have any reservations of giving somebody a second chance if they were coming out of the system?
I didn't. And I didn't have any reservations about sending them out the door when it didn't work out either.
If it wasn't working, gotta go.
So,
that is amazing.
You really find some people out
Oh,
there.
I can only imagine. So now, of all the places that you've got to travel around and visit and see, what was your favorite?
Oh, my favorite was in Northern California, Pleasanton, because I'm the franchisee there. She was originally from Arkansas too, And so she ended up growing up mostly in California. But anyway,
Right.
so that was my favorite place because she was there. San Francisco was there. The wine country was there. We're both gardeners, and so that was my favorite place. I loved Knoxville, Tennessee, too.
Wow.
So I had friends and just had a lot of nice times.
Right. That is neat.
So there's so many industrious people in this country that have the opportunity to make something.
Right, and I think that's really, the whole purpose of all of this is hopefully, I want somebody to take away from this to be able to do what they want to do, not what they feel like they have to do.
And something that you get some joy out of.
I think a lot of people compromise their time, and
I think they do too, just because the day-to-day living that you have to have food, shelter.
to maintain, and it's so scary to
I
think.
was fortunate enough to be able to step out of that. I certainly didn't start with money in this.
Right. It took the hard work and the guts to try something new.
I would buy ingredients, make the cookies, sell them, and buy more ingredients.
Wow.
So it was.
Was there anybody that had, growing up, even after the business was started, is there anybody that had a particular impact on helping you have the confidence to jump out?
I think just the way I was raised, and I had a grandfather here in town that made something of himself, and he always said, "Don't work for other people. You're too smart for that." Which,
I love that's what I was looking for. I knew somebody had given some advice somewhere.
And so my cousin, I have one first cousin, and he has a very successful gun business. So my grandfather had 3 grandkids, and 2 out of 3 took his advice and got out there.
Wow, and that's here in Arkansas too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in Carroll County. It's Wilson Combat, which is really
amazing.
Really an amazing business, and he employs a lot of people here in Carroll County.
Wow, and that's the thing too, is as it grows, and I think that holds a lot of people back from success, because as it grows, it is weighing on you. That now you're responsible for people and their livelihoods and feeding their children.
It really is, and there's been times that I paid people instead of myself.
Right.
Because that's what you do.
It's a whole different side of things to do something and have your storefront and do it on your own, but then managing other people.
Because I always thought I worked hard when I worked for other people, because I put in extra hours, all this. But I had no clue of what it took to do it on your own for yourself.
And finding people that share your vision, like you said,
Yes, and that was the wonderful part about it, because I didn't didn't spend one penny advertising to sell franchises.
Wow.
People came to me.
I wondered how that worked. If there was a catalog you put yourself in, and I didn't know how that works.
The product had the strength to people
that
wanted to join it.
So now, corporate headquarters still in Dallas?
It's in Plano.
In Plano,
which is North Dallas. But what I also have there is a 9,000 square foot baking facility, kitchen, because the franchises are sold by zip codes. So they get exclusive zip codes.
They get a territory.
So we ship cookies out of there to the zip codes that the franchisees don't cover.
Wow, so you have everything covered there, kind of like, say McDonald's, where you want the product to be uniform, you want, everything consistent across the board.
Yes, so we ship, that's a big part of our business
The logistics
now. And there's
side
about
of
30 people that work in we call it our gifting center.
So now you guys bake there, or do you send the ready-made dough to the franchises and they bake it in-house?
We always baked in-house, but we've developed a superior mix that has the quality control that we're looking for. So we do have our own mixes that we sell to franchises.
That's just amazing. And so you were involved in, they would have to come and get you. We think we've got it in the research and development side of it. And go look at it. And
after you taste so many cookies, you think, I don't know what this tastes like. It could have been wine, be more interesting.
the whole story, it really is amazing. It's inspiring, and just knowing you're from Arkansas now, that even adds more.
It's quite a trip.
That is.
And I was on my own for I've been married to my husband now for 17
So you did
years.
remarry
I've been
later
married
on.
for the last 17 years. But for all the time that I was developing this, I was by myself, which is good and bad. I might have had someone that didn't know.
Right, you're moving forward, but I mean, I know, and also too, the other side of it, as you begin to do things like that, your life does change, and the people around you change, and
they really, really do.
People don't understand, what you're building, what your vision is,
and why I'm so focused on this.
And sometimes they want you to fail because they don't have the guts to go do it.
Probably.
And so.
But so many years, I was just so focused. The cookies. I had the franchisees, my family, and everything, but my focus, when I thought of Christmas, I thought, what designs am I going to do for Christmas this year? Thought of Valentine's Day. It was never about the holiday. It was about how many cookies can I sell? So.
That's the difference, there's people that start their own business and then hate it. But if you're sitting around in your free time thinking about, these things, it becomes a passion.
Yes, it does. And when I started making different shapes in cookie cutters, there weren't that many shapes available.
So did you have to develop some of your own cookie shapes?
Right. So I would buy a big cookie cutter and cut it in two with just 10 snips, reshape it, solder it back together. And then my daddy had some copper rolled for me. So I started making them out of copper. So for years I made my own cookies cutters and even...
Wow. Now were your cookie cutters copywritten?
They were copyrighted. The cutter wasn't particularly, but the design itself
the cookie, the cut of the design.
Yeah,
so.
But people can change an eyelash and get around.
Now it's not under the copyright. So now, was there anybody that you ever had to go after that blatantly stole your product and design?
Yes.
Wow.
And I had a tire firm that took care of it.
That is awesome.
Because I had no...
Again, get somebody smarter, let them handle it.
Right, that's exactly
I know I'm in the right, they're stealing from me.
Yes. And so we did.
Wow.
But still, there's, you can't stop someone from making a living, blah, blah, blah.
Well, and that's the thing.
But still, just to take our name and everything.
When people see a successful business, they just think it's been roses from the start.
Of course.
Or cookies from the start. I'm going to start using that term.
Yes, it's cookies from heaven.
They don't see what goes into that. And even though you were in the right, you did nothing wrong, the amount of money, the amount of time it takes to fight something like that.
And we have had some losses against us too. The strangest one happened not very long ago, and I thought it was a joke it was a blind man that couldn't enjoy our website. No, but our website is now friendly with us.
It's awesome that you guys figured out how to.
Well, I didn't. There was people out there that knew how to do it because it had come up before. But it was the strangest thing.
That is. That's totally out of the blue, just random.
Yeah, and such a.
You're thinking, I've got things to do.
Yeah,
and I don't have real time for this. What again?
But he could not enjoy our website. He had gone on it many times, and he could not enjoy it.
That's overstepping some boundaries.
Some sharp lawyer that, sent out 100 things to small businesses and see, I think we settled for $7,000. And then it cost the attorney fees and then to change the website and everything. So
the things people don't see behind the scenes and understand what it takes to.
And one thing that I always thought would happen that didn't really happen very much, maybe a couple of times, but someone would find something that shouldn't be in the cookie.
Just debris or.
Yeah.
when you're making that many cookies, I can only imagine.
Yeah. And it was not true, but.
Oh, so they were falsifying, saying, "Oh, I bit into this."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
A piece of metal or something like that. Anyway, there's always someone coming.
There's somebody dropping something in their soup bowl at a restaurant right now, fixing to get a manager and sue them. And I guess you just have to account for that. And as you get bigger, you have to write that into your business model that these people are going to try to attack us.
What's going to happen today?
Well, it's just been amazing. You know, I just hope somebody can take something away from this, and that idea that's been in the back of their head.
I certainly am not an unusual person, but I did something unusual.
It's something extraordinary. I mean,
because I stuck with it basically. You can't sell something that no one wants, obviously. But I had a product that people wanted, and I was fortunate enough to be able to carry it through.
Was there ever a breaking point to where you thought, I can't do this anymore? No. It was never a thought in your head?
Maybe at 3 o'clock in the morning, but by 5 o'clock I was up doing something.
You're back at it.
Yeah, but no, I was always pretty determined.
That is resilient.
And it was about the product, because it was so well received that people just really were impressed by it and wanted to buy it.
That is amazing.
So if I had something that was hard to sell, I might not have done it.
It may not have worked.
It may not have worked.
Well, it is definitely inspiring.
But it was easy to sell, but it was hard to make.
Wow. Yeah, that just getting.
And it's a labor-intensive process.
And now, so your cookies the ingredients are all proprietary to you. It's not.
Yes.
You didn't have to partner with Pillsbury Doughboy or anything like that.
No, it was mine.
From scratch.
From scratch.
And was that recipe, you developed it, or was that something that grandmother's recipe from growing up? Or?
I developed it. I wanted a cookie that tasted good that would stay on that stick. You gotta stay on that stick.
Do not melt off that.
And you're driving and you have a car full of, or a van full of cookies, and there's a sound that a cookie makes when it drops off a stick, and that was a sound you did not want to hear.
Oh my goodness. You still do deliveries, just like a flower shop.
Yes, we deliver.
So now, as technology's changed, and things like Uber and places like that, will it ever be an option to where you're using other sources to drive these things around, or rather than the person working the shop?
Well, most of the franchisees have their van, and I did for a long time, but I haven't the last few years, because I found a company devoted just to me that does a great job.
That will make the deliveries. That is awesome.
They deliver all over the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But I've gone through a lot of delivery drivers when I had the van as deliver. There's somewhere.
I can imagine that they would get detoured.
Yes.
Like, what happened to my driver?
Yes.
He's sitting at the.
And I still have some cookies missing from 1989, but I still don't know what the guy did with them.
Whole truckload or van load.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I know it's just the time you've taken. This is the kind of stuff I live for now.
If I can give someone an idea and some hope.
Yes.
And the self-confidence just to do it.
Yes, break out of that shell, try it, and who knows what could happen.
That out of the box thing, I never had a box.
Well, I mean, I know it's late, and just taking this time, it's
been my pleasure.
I hope you all have taken something away from this. Please, please, please visit cookiesbydesign.com. And instead of flowers, try something new, because I know there's got to be still people out there that don't know of it.
Sir, yes.
So, try something new. If you're thinking about starting a franchise and you came into some money and don't know what to do with it, call them up. Who knows what could happen. And
we did. In veterans, we have a discount on our franchise for them too.
American-based, offering veterans discounts. What more can you ask for? And so, just the whole journey, the whole story, incredible. And so, appreciate you taking this time very much.
something I want to say. I was 42 years old when I started this.
Well, I cannot believe I didn't think to ask that.
Yeah, I was 42 years old when I started that. I just turned 77.
Wow.
But I was 42 when I started this.
Wow. And
But I was strong.
so how much time did it take from the time you were laid off until?
About 6 months.
And it was
I
up and
some
running.
nice unemployment. I had,
Take a little time to breathe and
Yes.
figure it out. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
This has been incredible. UmeetUmovement.com. There's much more to come. Look forward to some of the interviews coming up, and appreciate anybody that watches this. We hope you guys take something away from it. Thank you.